Okay. My talk, organization of an ECMO, is very simple and very complex because to do a ECMO program, we need to be organized. And the most important part of organization is you yourself, your own self-discipline. You are the most important person in an ECMO department, and how well you develop yourself, that is the strength of your department. So going by the basic fundamental that ECMO is a bridge between a critically ill doomed life to a second chance to live across an ocean of impending death. So this is how we begin with ECMO. ECMO, if you start comparing with ECLS, it is these many forms of extracorporeal life support in terms of cardiopulmonary bypass and L-ECMO and ECG2R and cardiopulmonary bypass and ECPR and mechanical circulatory support. And ECMO plays an important role in all the armamentarium of this mechanical circulatory support. Basically, ECMO is a fusion between man and machine. And man behind the machine, that is an ECMO specialist, is the key figure between success and failure. So if I have to start about talking about status of health of an ECMO department in an organization, I have divided ECMO status as ECMO amateurs to ECMO professionals and ECMO stalwarts. If I talk about ECMO amateurs, then ECMO amateur are the people who have just started doing ECMO. They are struggling between or priming the circuit and just doing the connections. So they are 50% perfusionist and 50% critical nurse. So they are just trying to get the thing organized. Then is the cross 25 number of cases of ECMO, they start graduating themselves into ECMO professionals. In ECMO professionals, they are only 10% perfusionist and 90% intensivist. As more and more people in our ECMO training program, I find all intensivists are coming for ECMO training and they don't even try to learn 10% of the perfusionist job. They want to remain 100% intensivist. That is also a very sad mentality because you have to know the entire circuit of the entire armamentarium of ECMO. So if you are not having a good idea about the circuit and how to correct it, in terms of emergency, you will be dependent upon perfusionists and other people, and that is how you will put the life into jeopardy. Then comes after doing 100 cases of ECMO, you become an ECMO stalwart, which are all super consultants and actuarians, and they are into research and development and trying to improve the quality of ECMO and trying to look into the newer aspects of ECMO and try to perfect the difficult arenas of ECMO. Thus, ECMO from a game of dice to a perfect control is a matter of practice, a matter of time, and a matter of constant efforts. Any problems? Thus, again, if we progress further, ECMO from a sophistication level is inversely proportional to the state of alertness. Means from bare minimum status of ECMO efficiency to a satisfactory and optimum level of ECMO performance is a matter of your own concern. If you are very serious about ECMO, you will gradually march from minimum efficiency to an optimum efficiency. And that includes many more factors other than you yourself. That is machine upgradations, then the center itself, the volume of the center, and many other things. Thus, the key factor in an organization of an ECMO is an ECMO specialist. ECMO specialist I call him the godfather because he struggles to the last chance. And that is the only, I would say, qualification of an ECMO specialist. He may be a perfusionist or he may be the head of the department of a cardiothoracic surgery department, but who struggles for the patient in spite of all odds can only become an ECMO specialist. Professionals can be in many fields. A physician is like going in an aircraft. A cardiologist is like riding a bicycle, an intensivist is like riding a car, but ECMO specialist is like a rope walking. So unless you are prepared to uh, train yourself against all odds and do all type of heroic jobs, you cannot become an ECMO specialist. You remain an observer, but if you want to become an ECMO specialist, you have to be ready for all the odd and hardship of the life. You have to sit with the patient. You have to know each and everything about the patient. You have to be aware about all the developments of the patient that has taken place, even if you are not on duty. And therefore, you are to be connected with the patient as long as the patient is on ECMO. Therefore, those days of patient on ECMO, you are already a patient yourself because you have to know everything about the patient. Then only there will be no communication gaps, there will be no mistakes, and there will be a better supervision. An ECMO team is a well-organized team and has a complete control of the entire gamut of ECMO, then only a ECMO program will be successful. A ECMO specialist is having a passion, a commitment, dedication, patience, intelligence, hard work, discipline, coordination, teamwork, and is organized and systematic. So all the other qualities of a very good doctor has to be a part of an ECMO specialist other than the technical and the professional skills of ECMO. Thus, an ECMO specialist always have a coordination with so many other people, the ECMO technician or the assistants, the perfusionists, the respiratory therapists, the critical care nurses, the intensivists and the physicians, the cardiac surgeons, all consultants of all super specialties and associated infrastructure of operation theater machines, the blood bank and the laboratory. So thus, a ECMO specialist is a very good coordinator also, and he has to take the help of all these people in order to make an ECMO run very effective or successful. The organization of the ECMO in the hospital has to depend on many things. Of course, the management is the most important thing. The management has to think seriously about the ECMO. They have not to think of immediate returns. There is a lot of investment in terms of training the manpower and the machine. And then of course, there's a learning curve in which the patient will be lost. There will be financial losses because of non-payment, because of patient that did not survive, and therefore that organization and the management has to understand these aspects and has to keep a patience for these things to bear fruits. So therefore, in an ECMO organization, the ECMO director is also the director of the organization. Then there are co-directors. In the co-directors, I would say the blood bank in charge is the most important person, because for a surgical ECMO, you might require 10 to 12 bags of ECMO per day, and that can only be possible by the benevolence of the blood bank in charge. Otherwise, you will run just out of stock and you will be finding it difficult to continue with ECMO. Then the financial counselor, advisor, legal cell, the cardiothoracic personals, intensivists, ICU in charges, and all the other people and who are actually working on the patient, plus the biomedical engineering, the physiotherapist, the dietitian, other consultant, physician and intensivist. They are all part of the organization to make the ECMO program successful. ECMO is a teamwork. It cannot be done only on the uh, individual shoulder, because not only the 24 into 7 hours involvement is required, the finances is a big issue, and of course many social and other repercussions also takes place because of ignorance and misunderstanding. So that can only be possible if the entire hospital gets involved into the ECMO program. Then you can address many things comfortably. The ECMO level of organization can be at level A, which is at the topmost level, or at the management level, where the ECMO directors, the hospital superintendent, and other co-directors like the blood bank in charge, the financial in charge, the cardiothoracic department, the ICU, and the intensivist or the medical department, and the medical counselor are essential part of level A organization of the ECMO team. Level B are the people who are in charges, the main ECMO specialists, the ECMO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because if they are working in shifts of 8 to 12 hours or something, or maybe 6 to 8 hours, you will require 4 ECMO specialists and another ECMO specialist on the top of it. So that makes the level B. And level C are the people who are working at the worker status or the ground level, the perfusionist, the respiratory therapist, the critical care nurse, the physiotherapist, the dietitian, and other people. So they are on duty, on call duty, which makes the level 3 or level C of ECMO organization. So this is important to be supervised at various levels, and all the people involved are coordinated and they are well informed, so there is no communication gap. This is how you lay down the organization of the ECMO department. So in short, as so to say that the ECMO team in a hospital comprises of, I would say, at least 20 people. Of them, at least 10 people or 12 people are the worker force, and another 8 to 10 are the managerial force. And without this participation of these 20 personnel, you will find it difficult to hold the daily discussions with the patient in terms of finance, in terms of outcome, and in terms of misunderstandings. Thus, in an ECMO team, there are the ECMO specialist is the center figure, and all around them are the various consultants from various departments, from neurologist to nephrologist to intensivist, physician, cardiologist, pulmonologist, hematologist, cardiothoracic department, radiologist, which are acting in cooperation with the ECMO specialist to give their valuable opinion at different times and in different conditions. Thus, not only the professionals are important, the training is important, and the management is important how to coordinate them with technology, timing, flow, cost, cannulation, teamwork, and etc. So thus it is a very important setup of uh, uh, protocols and coordination between people before you think you can run an ECMO department, because it is a sometimes a very long exercise and a costly exercise. So there are three triangles or three aspects: the medical management, the hospital support, and the social and the financial support. And in the center lies the ECMO patient. In ECMO patient, again, the patient is in the center, the ECMO specialist is in the team, in the first round of defense, and the consultant and the hospital in the second line of defense. So that is how the entire circle of management revolves around the patient. Again, not only the organization in itself is important, sometimes you have to understand the perseverance. That is very important. The patient, ECMO patient is always a sick patient. He is a critical patient. So therefore, not only your wisdom is important, even your, you can say, common sense is very important. But what is that common sense is the level A patient, level B patient, and level C patient. Level A patient is bad and is on ECMO, and he starts gradually improving and there is gradual uh, recovery. And therefore, there are no tragedy, no regrets in a win-win situation. Every day you have to go, you have some good information to narrate to the relatives. So everybody is happy. That is level A. No problems in level A. Level B patient, that patient is very bad. He is not maintaining on basic parameters for ECMO. He is unstable. There are intermittent jerks. There is waxing and waning of the course of the patient, and there's sometimes the patient requires a lot of jugglery with the machine setting, inconsistent recovery. There are regrets and financial hurdles, but the hopes keeps on going. So that is level B, though you are not very optimistic, but then you say, let us hope. The patient has shown some ups and downs. Sometimes the patient goes up, sometimes the patient comes down. So that also is a part of patients. That level B is also acceptable. There's a level C. Then level C, the patient is worst, and the patient is gradually deteriorating. The parameters are going downhill, and there are only regrets. There is no response to the efforts, and you say keep doing and pray to God. But sometimes even after that, when you finding the day has gone bad, you still keep on going, because sometimes there's a delayed response. You will find the response on the next day. That is a level C. So in all such situations, your ECMO has to, the ECMO team has to keep their patience and the cool, and try to continue to do 100% effort in 0% hopes. That is how you are able to continue on ECMO for long. Thus, if I have to say that ECMO is nothing new, every placenta is an ECMO, and ECMO appears to be simpler than many more complex things in the world, like a cockpit of an aeroplane or a space shuttle, or a very complex, you can say, control room of a, you can say, the server room of a computer system. ECMO is definitely simpler than that. And ECMO is a bridge for between recovery, VAD, and transplant, and you have to find a level of comfort between the optimum satisfactory and the minimum levels of performance which you can give. This is what is in short about the general scenario of ECMO. Now I talk about our Indian scenario. What is the problem in our country is that there is a lot of ignorance, and indications are many, but finances are very limited. The timely decision is never taken. Immediate action is never taken. There is a lot of problem in terms of transport and long-term management. So therefore, these are the difficulties in our country because of financing. All these things come up. Second problem in India is that we all want to do ECMO, but we are not all very much capable in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the machinery, in terms of the support, and therefore we are landing up into various sort of uh, various type of various type of situations. Either we are a cardiac center or a non-cardiac center. We are a large volume center versus a small volume center. We have a perfused or do not have a perfusionist. We are an organization, or there are many people who are freelancers. You can find who are doing a mobile ECMO transport and other things, who are individuals who are performing ECMO. There's a learning curve, there's a social issue, there's an individual wisdom which takes time to develop, and there are a lot many constraints in terms of manpower and machinery. So these are, again, if it is a cardiac versus non-cardiac center, cardiac centers has got some experience between the cardiologist and the cardiothoracic surgeon. So the extracorporeal technology is already inherited in the organization, which makes the life simpler. Between a large volume center and a small volume center, the large volume center has got a passive learning because there are one or two ECMOs every month. So all the team also gets a passive learning because of the possible performance of the ECMO. Small volume center, they tend to lose the competence because of not doing ECMO regularly. So they tend to forget many things. So these are other problems of the type of organization you are working with, which affects the outcome on ECMO. We are 35 years down the lane when the ECMO, ECLS, ELSO started in 1975 in ECMO. We started the ECMO Society of India in 2010. And we have a lot of problems in terms of we are using ECMO as an extended cardiopulmonary bypass, and we were still considering ECMO as a stepchild of CBTs, running into the corridors of OR and not coming inside the ICU. And ECMO versus practicing clinicians have got a lot of inhibitions and apprehensions in terms of advocating it widely. There are limited resources. We lack depth of knowledge. The market availability of material is very resource limited. There's a rapid change in hardware, and we are unable to cope up with changing our hardware. Each year we find new types of machinery coming in. Many of them we are low volume centers, and simulation is still yet to develop in our country, which is an integral part of ECMO training. Now we look at the ECMO spectrum. Because we learn from other mistakes, we build our volumes. We require to build our volumes on learning from other mistakes. So from trainers to stalwarts, from horizontal to vertical inclinations, from patient to consultant, from audience to essays, and from workshops to centers par excellence. They all constitute the footstep to the roof tiles, and to make it into a perfect ECMO program in our country, we feel ECMO Society is doing a part of the job, and that should be promoted in each state to make ECMO more well-versed with the people who want to learn it. Thus, the objective of any society to promote ECMO should to introduce all ECMO centers to each other to form a platform for ongoing CME, to make a ECMO registry of India, to initiate more frequent ECMO specialist training sessions, and a central web-based data on the lines of international registry to improve our results. cost constraints. That is a very important part of our society. When the ECMO cost abroad is $125 per case, with that means it would come down to some 80 lakhs or 90 lakhs as compared to our country, where the ECMO starts in around 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs, and the maximum ECMO for a 1 month goes to nearly 40 lakhs of rupees in a corporate hospital, or even lesser. If you look at other people, you look at the European model, they are getting paid in terms of $2,500 in an ICU for a patient on ECMO. And that is how they are maintaining it without having a proper ECMO training program, as different from US. In the Orient, the consultants are only getting monthly salary. There's nothing like a special incentive to people who are working for ECMO, or a per case basis remuneration for ECMO separately. In India, we have got a lot of challenges in terms of circuit machine, professional charges, packages, double standards, corporate versus government hospital, and starting late. So these are all our challenges. We have a separate talk on the cost constraint and the economics of ECMO. So I just want to tell that I will take that matter later on in this thing. But I would just like to highlight that ECMO specialists just don't give up. They continue to fight till the last, and that is how they are able to save a few patients out of the clutches of death. Thank you.